Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you guys a market update on the car market. But before we get into this video, as always, if you can save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. And if you can see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Let's get into it. Let's start things off by talking about the new car market. So first off, when it comes to pricing, I'm still seeing MSRPs go up. It seems like everyone thinks that new car prices are going to crash randomly and that we're going to be able to buy new cars for 50% off. I just don't think that's reality. But what I will say is we aren't going to see the insane MSRP increases that we've seen over the last year. It looks like everything's kind of stabilized there, where automakers are basically doing their incremental price increases that they normally do with new vehicles rather than the huge price increases, again, that we saw over the last year, which is really good. And then the next thing with new cars is availability is just a lot better. Like, it is improving day by day. I'm starting to see just more and more cars at dealer lots. And on top of that, I'm starting to see more desirable vehicles at dealer lots. I'll just give some examples from some brands. Land Rover, I'm starting to see, some full sizes that aren't already pre-sold. Land Rover Defenders as well. Those are two really hot products with that particular brand. With Volvo, I'm starting to see Recharge models that are not already pre-sold, which is pretty crazy because anything that's Volvo and hybrid is usually sold out for like months in advance, but those are also starting to stack up, not really stack up a massive amount, but like there's some availability with those vehicles. And then with Nissan, like you can get Frontiers now, which is pretty crazy because again, that was a truck that was just like, you couldn't get a hold of one. And then Pathfinders as well are starting to pop up. Over at Toyota, it seems like there's greater availability with stuff like Tacomas, for example, 4Runners as well. Even new Tundras. I've seen several new Tundras that are actually like on the lot and available for sale, which is just crazy because since the new Tundra came out, like that hasn't really been a thing. And I could keep going on and on, but the point that I'm trying to make here is availability is increasing. And so what that means for you as a consumer is, well, you have a little bit more negotiating power. Now, with the more desirable vehicles, it doesn't look like there's a massive amount of negotiating power yet, unless it sits in the lot for quite some time. But I'm not seeing the markups that I saw before. What I'm seeing now is dealers are just trying to get rid of the inventory as quick as they possibly can. And so they're no longer starting at over MSRP, even on desirable models. They're starting at MSRP. Now, there are some vehicles that are still marked up over MSRP, but the amount is pretty minimal. And the vehicles that are still marked up over MSRP are vehicles that were typically marked up over MSRP even in the pre-2020 market. And so they were basically vehicles that no matter what the market's doing, they're always going to be marked up by dealers because dealers think that, the old saying of, I know what I got, right? But anyways, let's move on to the used car market. So with the used car market, the most surprising thing is the fact that prices have somewhat stabilized. So there was that time period where they were just going down every single week by a massive amount, and used car prices are still coming down, but they're not coming down nearly as quickly, and it's for a number of reasons. So first off, the prices have already come down quite a bit. I mean, over 20% with most segments. And so what you're starting to see is a lot of people are like, oh, well, that's actually starting to look like kind of a good deal. And so a lot of people that were kind of like waiting on the sidelines are starting to jump into the market. And so that's creating some stability with prices. And then the other thing is that, again, new cars are not getting any more affordable. The MSRPs have increased a massive amount over the last year with pretty much every single automaker. They're not coming down. And so a lot of people are now looking at, the new vehicles and seeing that because the used car prices have come down enough, that used cars are now finally, not with every single model, but with a lot of models, significantly less expensive than their new car counterparts. And so people are like, okay, the same thing that they were in pre-2020 where they're like, okay, do I want to buy a brand new one with a full warranty and spend, $60,000, or do I want to get a pre-owned one with a few miles and spend, $40,000? You guys get the point. And so that is also starting to kind of prop up the market a little bit. And then the next thing is interest rates are most likely going to go up with this next Federal Reserve meeting, but it seems like everything's kind of calmed down. And so everyone's kind of gotten used to where rates are now. And so again, a lot of people that are sitting on the sidelines waiting to see how far interest rates would go are like, okay, well, this is where it's at. I got to buy a car, so I just got to bite the bullet, and I'm just going to deal with the higher interest rate. And so since we're starting to kind of see a little bit more stability with a lot of things within the market, it's starting to kind of cause some stability to happen within the used car market as well. And I mean, if you, again, it seems like the used car market almost follows the stock market. If you look at the stock market, right, it was just an absolute poop show until October this year, and then it got really bad. And then it started to kind of stabilize a little bit. And now it seems like the stock market's not being as frustrating. I mean, it's still volatile, but it's not nearly as bad as what it was, again, earlier in the year. And now I'm just going to go over some general market trends that I'm seeing. Some of the stuff will apply to the new car market. Some of it will apply to the used car market. I'm starting to see more and more rebates from automakers on new cars, which is a big plus. A lot of cemented rates where automakers are basically giving customers really low rates to incentivize them to purchase new vehicles. Again, considering all of the rate increases that we've seen this year. And I'm also seeing that dealers are starting to be a little bit stronger with their trade-in offers. Again, the used car market has started to stabilize, and so dealers aren't freaking out nearly as much as what they were in the past. And so they're starting to have much better trade-in offers. And this is something that I experienced personally because one of the vehicles that I was looking at trading in, I got an offer one week and then I got an offer the next week, and there was like a $7,000 price difference between the offers. And it really came down to not what the market was doing, but more with how the dealership felt the market was doing. And so all you need to know is that just kind of be patient with the trade-in values. Again, I don't see used car prices like skyrocketing anytime soon, but with the stability that we have, dealers are kind of gonna, feel it out for a little bit, but they're gonna start being a little bit better on trade-in values. But what that also means is that the negotiability of used cars might go down slightly because of this market stability. So in terms of how you can use this information to help you out as a buyer, first off, I think that December could be a pretty good month to purchase a car for a couple of reasons. So first off, dealer inventory is not massive, but it's a lot better than it has been over the last couple of years. And so you have vehicles to choose from, which means you do have some negotiating power with dealers that you haven't had for quite some time. And so you have kind of a couple things going for you. Again, this greater inventory, but then you also have the fact that, dealers are always going to want to make deals towards the end of the year. And something that you need to know is you don't have to purchase a car on December 31st to get a deal. You can purchase a car just like on any day in December. Like dealers, have end of the year quotas they want to make, and they don't care whether it's a sale at the beginning of December or at the end of December. Like they'll work with you. And so don't just try to wait till the end of the month, especially since we are potentially going to have another rate increase in the middle of this month. If you're going to be financing, then you might want to get on that sooner rather than later so you don't pay a higher interest rate, because it's like, oh, I just got $500 more off on the sales price of the car at the end of the month, but then I'm going to pay, $1,500 more in interest over the course of the auto loan. So, yeah, don't put yourself in that silly situation. But it looks like we're really starting to kind of go into more of a normal market. And I'm really seeing this happen at dealers, like with the interactions that I'm having with the different staff of the dealers, kind of like talking about like how they feel about everything in the market. Everyone seems to think that, yeah, like the last couple of years of crazy prices are pretty much over. Like everyone knows that, but we're not going to continue to see these crazy decreases in prices either. And so they're like, oh, well, we pretty much just have to go back to the status quo of pre-2020 with sales. And so, yeah, you're going to see, again, more discounts on vehicles, and I guess salespeople being more salesy, where they actually have to sell you on a car again because you have options to look at finally. Now, that's pretty much going to sum things up. I will be making a follow-up video diving a little bit deeper into the used car market, because it seems like we've had a huge trend shift with the used car market. And I think this is very important because I understand there are a lot of people, again, waiting on the sidelines for the quote unquote bottom of the used car market. But yeah, it seems like it's all changing. It's changing really fast, and that's something that I feel like describes the world's economy nowadays. It seems like, with social media and with just how like readily available information is nowadays, like markets and everything just react way faster than they used to. It's like, just a few decades ago, if something happened, then it would take a while for it to happen, and then it would take a while for it to correct. Like, I feel like if we had this same situation happen like, 50 years ago, then it would have taken like a decade plus for everything to get figured out. Whereas it's starting to look like it basically was a situation where we had 2 years of craziness, and then we had a year to fix that craziness, and then we're pretty much going to be back to normal, which is so weird to me. But anyways, I'll see you guys.